All right, today we're going to talk about how to sell your coaching programs to the rich, basically people who have money. Now, CNBC came out with a report recently that said there is something like 28 million millionaires in the United States alone, 58 million worldwide, and that's basically defined as somebody who has a net worth of $1 million or more. Okay. Now, so, we're going to kind of go roughly with that, or high income earners or stuff like that. But people who have, who can pay for your $3, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 coaching program, where it's not a huge investment. You know what I mean? It's not like they're going to go without eating this month if they buy your coaching program. How do we find those people? Because at the end of the day, a lot of coaches want them, but they don't know how to attract them. So what I want you to do is understand something as we get into this and as I show you. There is a major issue happening in the city where I live. I live in Vegas. Obviously, I'm from Canada. I moved here about 5 years ago from Calgary, Banff, Canadian Rockies area, me and my family. Now, in Vegas right now, as of this recording, there is a serious decline in visitors. Like 10, 15, 20%. Basically, every meaningful metric in terms of the Vegas tourism is down and down bad. And the funny thing is, though, is if you look at the statistics, the two resorts that are most high end, like the Wynn / Encore, and Red Rock, which is a resort out by where I live out in Summerlin, they're both like 5-star. Their stock are up like 30-40% this year, whereas Caesars and MGM, which own probably 20 hotels or something like that in Vegas, are all down significantly, and they're losing like crazy. Why? Because it's that middle layer that's getting pressed, and they're just like, I'm sick of all this expensive stuff. Whereas people going to the Wynn, they're not coming to Vegas to save money. They're not looking for a budget trip so them and 5 of their buddies can share one hotel room, right? That's not the crowd. And that's the crowd you want to attract for your coaching. So what I want to do is I'm going to walk you through 4 different things that you need to know and that you need to start doing, coming from least important to most important, all right? So let's start with the first one. The first thing that you need to do is try testing income targeting. And the reason why I stick this as the least important is because inevitably, income targeting I don't think is working that well anymore. I personally don't use it in our ad accounts when we're trying to target people. Basically, what you can do is you can go into the ads manager and you can target people based on 50% income, 25% income, 10%, and 5%. And you can layer them all in and shrink your audience down and get those people. It's still a targeting method that Facebook has, because you got to remember, Facebook has literally ripped out almost all the targeting. For example, if you're trying to target like business people, you can't target followers of John Maxwell. You can't target followers of Tony Robbins, Brandon Burchard, any of those kind of big name people. You can't reach their followers anymore. Crazy thing is, none of my clients who are scaling have had problems without the targeting. So you can try the income targeting. A lot of coaches think that that's like the silver bullet. There is no silver bullet. Okay. That's the first thing you can do if you want to attract people who have money in terms of your coaching. Or getting your coaching. The second thing you can do, and this is another layer, but this is really important, and most coaches screw this up. You can use what we call an invisible pain mechanism, but not desperation. So here's the tricky part. On your ad and in your messaging, a lot of coaches will be like, if you make, whatever per year, this is for you. That can work, but the most important thing you need to do is target the problems that people who have money have, that people who don't have money won't want to click on that ad. Because here's the tricky part. What coaches do when they're trying to run ads, and by the way, if you're not running ads, you have to. It's 2025, okay? Your ideal clients are on Facebook and Instagram. There's millions and millions of people who need coaching. They are there waiting for you, but they're getting their coaching from somebody else because, maybe you're just not doing it because you're scared or whatever. Listen to me. If you plan on scaling your coaching business, you got to use ads. There's just no way around it. This isn't 2003 where you can post stuff on Facebook and hope people who have money see it, or post on LinkedIn or something like that. It's not working. You need ads. All right, back to what we were talking about. So here's the problem. A lot of coaches' messaging is aspirational. Now, here's what I mean by that. This is super important. What aspirational messaging means is they're like, hey, are you a six-figure earning professional who wants to lose weight without going to the gym? Well, guess what's going to happen? Aspirational people who are like dead broke are like, yeah, I'd love to lose 50 pounds without going to the gym. I'm super lazy, and this totally appeals to me. I got to sign up for this. And then you get these people who don't have jobs, unemployed, whatever, or super underemployed. They have no money, but they're like, oh, how do I do this? I'm sick of this extra 50 pounds. It slows me down. You know what I mean? And so you got to be very careful that your messaging does not attract aspirational people, but it's basically an invisible pain. And what that invisible pain is, it's exclusive to people who have money. For example, if you're dealing in the weight loss, you want to look at messaging it in for six-figure earners or higher who are working 60 plus hours a week, who don't have time to make food at home. They're always eating out. They're always traveling. They're always at expensive hotels. They're always at expensive meals, meeting clients. They don't have time to even go to their personal trainer that they pay $1,000 a month for. Are you starting to see what I'm doing? And so I'm just giving you some high level ideas here, but that's just one broad market that we all can understand. So guess what's going to happen? Aspirational person, if I'm this aspirational underemployed person, I'm not going to see that and be pulled into that ad because I'm like, that's not me. I don't go to 5-star restaurants with clients. I go to Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the tricky part. Do not create aspirational messaging, or you'll just get as people who are needy and are looking for you to save them. They will be on your calendar so fast. None of them have money, but boy, are they looking for your help. All right, so that's number 2. Now, before we go on, hit the subscribe button. You can subscribe to this if you're on YouTube, because I create all kinds of free content. Look, I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I've basically made it my life's mission to try and attract qualified people and continue to grow my coaching business that way. And I've spent millions on ads in the last few years, worked with well over 1,000 coaches, and I take the good stuff that we're teaching and learning and put it here and give it to you for free on YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we got some really cool trainings coming down the pipeline. And if you're not subscribed, you might miss it, and it might be the exact thing you need. You're like, wow, that would be great to help get you to that next level. Hit the subscribe button. Number 3, again, remember, we're moving in least important to most important. For example, we don't use income targeting. A lot of our clients don't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's working less and less because Facebook's removing all the targeting options. The second thing is the invisible pain. This is super important because, again, you've got to remember how the algorithms work. They're going to take your audience, say it's 1 million people, and they're only going to go into one segment of that, maybe 0.5%, maximum 1%. And if they lock into those aspirational people, you're done. Okay, so you got to pull it out, get it into the right people who have the money. Now, the third thing we have to do is, with people who have money, you have to be different versus better. And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of examples for this, because this is where coaches screwed up all the time. Okay, you need to understand, people who have money, who have access to money, who are serious about this, have worked with other people before. This is 2025, not 2005, okay? And so you need to understand, we're going to use the health coaching thing. I'm not picking on you if you're a health coach, but it's something that we all understand. If you just give more one-on-one, you give more trainings, more videos, and you help them to lose weight without going to the gym, well, guess what? So do 5 million other health coaches, and you can take that exact example and put it into every other coaching niche. Better is, you have to be different versus better. They don't care about better. They've already gone through those coaching programs. So if you're just giving them more of what they already have and making it better, they're not excited about that. And people need to be excited about wanting to join your coaching program. So you have to be different. Let me give you 3 or 4 examples, okay? Totally, some of them within their coaching niche, some of them without, but this is super important. This is why coaches cannot get qualified clients. It's because their stuff is not different enough. And different doesn't mean, I give you unlimited one-on-one calls versus everybody else gives you group coaching. That's a function of it. They don't care. Nobody who's making money and who's wants your help woke up this morning and is like, geez, you know what? I think I need a one-on-one coach, and yeah, I got to find myself a one-on-one. It just doesn't happen, okay? They don't care. In fact, groups better than one-on-one anyways, get some better results for the most part. But that's for another video. So let me give you some examples of this. I've talked about this before. First example is banana ball, right? This team in Georgia wasn't able to figure out, they could not get anybody to come to their minor league games. They couldn't make it work. Nobody wanted to do it. They're losing money. So they created this banana ball thing, which is a baseball thing, and they've turned it into a whole league. And they're selling out football stadiums. They had a game at Clemson earlier this year. It's like 100,000 people came to their baseball game. As of this recording, they just went to, had a game in like Denver and sold out the Colorado Rockies Stadium 2 nights in a row. They have millions of fans. They've now got 4 teams. They've created their own league, and it's huge. I don't even like baseball. It's just never part of our culture growing up in Canada, and so I never really got into it. But it's just huge. I follow them all the time everywhere, and they do all kinds of like stupid things. And for example, if somebody hits a foul ball, and somebody in the stands catches it, then the batter's out, and they limit the games to, I think, 2 hours. And then they just doing all kinds of stupid stuff. They have the Tailgaters are their Texas team, and they're like barbecuing brisket on their tailgating thing during the game between first base and home, and the coaches, like, they do all kinds of fun stuff, and people love them because they're completely different. So instead of competing with minor league and major league, they're just like, let's be totally different. So I'm just trying to give you out of the box ideas here. The second thing is already explained to you. The Wynn in Vegas, the Wynn in the Wynn and Red Rock are different, okay? That's why they're succeeding. For example, in Vegas, Resorts World International opened up about 2021, like $3.8 billion, almost across the street from the Wynn. In fact, their design was so close to the Wynn had to take them to court to get them to change their design. Well, they basically ripped off the Wynn, and they're having a real tough time right now because they're just a knockoff. They're just like, oh, we're a bigger, better version of the Wynn, and it didn't work because they weren't different, okay? And now they're having a hard time making it work. So, like me, we don't help people with sales funnels. We help people with ecosystems. We use what we call mini celebrity status ad ecosystems that get people to buy versus funnels, because funnels are just bringing in garbage quality leads. They're not working. Funnels worked from 2014 till 2023. They do not work. Those days are gone. They're over. It's done. Okay. And so that's why we are totally different. We're helping with ecosystems, not funnels. So that's another example. A fourth example, I'll just give this to you and I'll move on, of why you have to be different versus better. Take Skool. Okay. We use Skool. You're probably in our Skool community. I know Sam Ovens. We used to hang out a lot back in 2013 to 2016-ish, that area. We were in a mastermind together in Vegas, and we're like the only international guys, so we're just always hanging out together at dinner and stuff like that. And Sam's an amazingly brilliant person who founded Skool, and he did an amazing job with Skool because he saw ClickFunnels and Lead Pages and Kajabi and all these other platforms, and then Go High Level and stuff like that. And they're all sort of like competing against each other. And he created Skool and created almost a whole new niche out of it, which is community-based and how to actually make money off this software through this thing. So it does have the components of storing your courses and stuff, but it's a community-based platform. And he's got all the features in. Him and Alex Hormozi did a great job of figuring out how can this actually make clients money so they can get people in and have them stand there. And Skool, in my opinion, will definitely make Sam a billionaire. In my opinion, I don't see how it won't. He's done an amazing job and he deserves it. But guess what's happened? There's all these Me Too programs out there right now trying to compete against Skool. And again, they're not as good, right? So that's what you need. Those are the first 3 things you need to do, because you've got to remember, If people have money, if they're successful, they have tried other things. You're not their first option, okay? This doesn't mean to be discouraging. You should be making $20, $30, $40, $50, $100,000 months if you want to right now, because the market is still there. The coaching industry is exploding, all right? But you've got to just do it different than what people were teaching and what they were doing years ago. Now, I'm going to get to number 4, which is the most important thing. If you want to add 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month to your coaching business, work with people who have money, pay in full, want to work with you, do a good job, take action, all the great things that you know that you can help them and that they can be. And really for you, have that coaching business that's stable, that's super profitable. That's why you're in this, so you can live your dream life, right? But before we get to number 4, I want you to do one thing. At the bottom of this video, in the description or in the pinned comment post section there's a link to book your free call. And what we want to do, because you're a member of our Skool community, we want to give you a free 15-minute call to show you how to implement this stuff, to brainstorm ideas with you, strategies, give you some extra free bonus training that's normally reserved for our coaching clients. And this is going to be just a 15-minute call. There's nothing for sale. That's why it's only 15 minutes. And we want to help you, because just figuring all this stuff out, like figuring out how am I different versus better, how do I not create aspirational copy so that they don't get it, and then the ads and what to do and strategies. We want to just map it all out for you, because sitting here figuring out all on your own, that just sucks, okay? And if it was going to work, it would already work. So we do this all day long. This is all we do. So we want to give you that free call as a bonus, as a gift. Just book it. It's somewhere in this video, and we're going to help you. So you don't have to just figure this out all on your own and watch hundreds of YouTube videos and not know what to do. We know the metrics. We know what your price points need to be. We know all that stuff, because I've been at this since 05 full-time, in 2003 part-time to 05 full-time, before I transitioned out of being a pastor. So look, 20 years, our teams, we know what we're doing. So book that call, and don't forget. Now, number 4, this is the most important thing you need to understand. You absolutely, if you're trying to reach people who have money and you want them to give it to you, you need to use an ecosystem and stop using funnels, okay? Just because they have money doesn't mean they want to give it to you. And people who have money have been through funnels. They know what's coming. They know what's on the other side of giving that email address. They know it's going to be booking a call. They know it's going to be a sales pitch. They know all that because they've bought in other stuff before. The commonality between people who have money to spend and who are serious buyers is they've already done stuff. You're not their first option. And so they're looking for help because the stuff they've done didn't work, right? So what do you need to do? You need to make sure that you do this, because here's why. I'm going to explain to you how. Number 1, they're skeptical. All right. They're the most skeptical buyers, because people who are successfully financially didn't get there by just wasting their money, right? I heard a story of some guy who won the lottery a number of years ago in England, 10 million pounds or something like that. 5 years gone. He's back to a job as a garbage truck driver. 5 years, blew the whole thing. Okay. And so people who are successful got there because they're smart. All right. And so they are skeptical, and they're going to be the most skeptical thing. The second thing is they hate funnels. All right. They hate funnels because what happens is in funnels, it's sort of like I've talked about, it's like a timeshare. You go to that resort and you're like, oh, wow. And they're like, hey, free breakfast, 9 o'clock. It's only 2 hours and we'll give you $100 worth of coupons. You fully know what it is. It's a timeshare sales pitch, okay? And they know that, and they know they're going to get sold. So stop using funnels. Also, they do not buy on the first pass, okay? Very rarely do they buy on the first pass. So what does that mean? When they give you an email address, watch your 6-minute video or whatever, and you tell them to book a call, they're not doing that, because they're buying you, not your content. They're buying you, okay? People who have money want to work with people they trust. And trust is the single currency in 2025 and 2026 that's going to make you successful, because guess what? All the other coaches out there are putting out garbage ChatGPT and Claude content. They don't want that. The only thing that matters is, do I trust you? Okay. And trust can't be built in a 5-minute video to pitch them on a call. I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is the most common thing that's taught. And that's why most coaches are bringing in garbage leads no matter what they do. You can do all 3 of those other things I showed you, but if you do this 4th thing wrong, garbage leads all day long. Okay. Because just because they have money doesn't mean they want to give it to you. So here's what you need to use. It's the Google 7-11-4 study. Basically, they need to have they need to see you. I'll break it down backwards. 4 different platforms, and they have to have 11 different touch points, 4 different 7 hours of engagement, 11 touch points on 4 different platforms. And so good news is you can compress all this and automate it into an ads ecosystem. We're going to bring them into an automated webinar that starts every 15 minutes. We want a 60 to 70% show up rate. And we're going to change their belief systems. We're going to uninstall the old belief systems, install the new buyers' belief systems, build trust. You're going to get probably 5% of them book a call right then and there. But that's not enough. The rest are going to come through the ecosystem. It's going to be a combination of special, what we call symptomatic-based ads that we use. It's going to also come from certain types of, emails that we use, a community strategy to just get them to know you, and these mini celebrity status ads, which only are targeted to the people in your community or who are following you now, who clicked your ad, who registered, and all that kind of stuff. And those ads are simple. They're super cheap, and they're just building trust, getting them to the next step, building trust. And this is how you push through all this ChatGPT garbage, all these other coaches. And so they might book a week, 5 days, all that, whatever it is, a month or whatever, but you're going to get more of them, and it's going to start to compound, and they're going to be like, I really trust you. I really like what I've seen. You're so different. You're not, what you're saying is different. This is really cool. I feel like you're speaking to me, AKA I'm different, because obviously they are. And boom, they book, all right? And that's how you do this. And I'm telling you right now, if you will do these 4 things that I'm showing you, I don't guarantee anything. I don't know, maybe you'll screw it all up. I have no idea. But what I will say is this, that 99% of your market is not doing these 4 things. So if you do these 4 things, it's going to give you an incredible advantage. Again, I've been at this for 20 years now. I've figured a few things out. I've evolved from every change, and I'm here to tell you that ecosystems are the future. We've been going all in on it. It's given us our best ROIs. We're seeing clients have their best results. And so that's what you need to do. You need to do this because here's the thing. People who have the money are buying coaching. You just need to get them to buy from you. So follow these strategies. Click the link below, book your call, and it's a 15-minute call, and we're going to help you implement all this stuff, help you brainstorm what would better quality leads look like, how could you be seen as different versus just better, how do you make sure that you get the messaging right so it's just not going to attract aspirational people? It's kind of the invisible pain point. What does it look like for the ecosystem for you? Because it's totally customized around you, and that's the benefit of it, around your strengths, how the ad strategy could look. And we're just going to help you hook that all together. The call is free. It's for Skool community people or people who are following us on our YouTube channel. And that way we can do this so you don't have to just figure this out on your own. Because if you haven't had record months these last 3 months, then something needs to change. And doing more of what you're already doing is just going to get you the same results, and it's going to start diminishing due to all the changes. Remember, the number one currency is trust, right? That's it. Period. Trust, not funnels, not click funnels, not this, not go high level, not ChatGPT scripts, not AI avatars, none of that stuff. All right? It's trust. And this is how you build it at scale so that you can start hitting those extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 months. All right. Book that call with us. We're going to help you out, and then we'll see you on it. And we're going to also unlock some really cool training that's going to help you out and start attracting these people who have money so you don't have to work with all the broke people in your market. Hope this was helpful. See you on the next video.